Hello everyone, the book review this week is going to be on a book that is central to one of my favorite countries, Ireland. It is called Galway Bay by Mary Pat Kelly, and I particularly have a fondness of this book because of a couple of reasons. I find that I have a little bit of an obsession with Ireland. I have many things that are themed after Ireland, many books that are written by people from Ireland. My collection of Irish or Irish-themed things are this, the author is from Ireland, this, which says Ireland twice and has two shamrocks, this, and as you can tell by the fact that I've already shown you, this. So, anyway, let's get started. Okay, summary. I'm not going to call it a short summary because it's a 550-page long book. Our story is told by a young woman named Honora Kelly, who is grown up on the shores of Galway Bay, where her dad has been a fisherman and her brothers have been fishermen and her entire family has been centralized around that particular ideal. And it's the beginning of the 1800s. They are just starting to have a lot of control from England come in and kind of squish them a little bit, contract, and kind of it's kind of putting pressures on daily lives a little bit more than it was before. But despite this, Honora Kelly, I misspoke earlier, is having a fairly nice life. She is just walking along one day on the shores of Galway Bay, and she sits down to contemplate whether or not she should go to the convent and become a nun, like everyone wants her to. And she kind of wants to as well, but anyway, she's just sitting there one day, and in a very picturesque, super romancy way, a guy pops out of the ocean. He just comes swimming out with his horse nearby, and it's just like, oh my word, it's a mythical thing. It's this dude coming out of the ocean just for me. It's one of those kind of deals, and it's very, very picturesque and a little bit cheesy almost, but at the same time, I've really enjoyed it. It was kind of awesome. And despite the usual inclination to believe that this next event was mythicized or overstated in some way, I tend to believe the people that actually went through it, or the families thereof. History is not always written by the heroes, it's written by the victors. So, I'm going to trust the people that actually went through this and the families thereof. Moving on. What happens next is a fog rolls in. A very strange smelling, very cough-inducing fog that they go out into the fields and look at. It's because it's freaking strange. But they go out to check all of the rest of their potatoes, and none of them have survived this fungus, as was later discovered, I believe. Whatever potatoes were left after that initial blight were then taken when they were harvested, and they were put in the pit in the house where the potatoes were stored. The clean ones were eventually destroyed as well. It was not a good day. It was not a good time. People were terrified, obviously, because there was no food to go around. But people got through this somehow because they had to. There was no other thing. It was either survive or don't. So they had to survive on what they had left over after that, and whatever tiny, annoyingly difficult to use aid that England decided to send in sometimes. A man named Trevelyan brought in some very stale, very bad corn, which was usable basically for making disgusting soup that nobody was able to eat hardly for a very long time. They had to work it up through their systems after many months. So they go through this. They go through this for a year. There's a lot of crap going down over this year. People come in trying to take their land. They're figuring out how to keep it. They're kind of stealthily avoiding everything. They're learning about their culture and heritage, which was amazing, but I'll get to that later. And while I don't know the exact situation involved in, say, Stalin's starvation and Mao Zedong's starvation plans, this may be comparable to that. More than likely, it's not nearly as extreme, but it is nonetheless. People are dying because they are starving. People have no food. They have to live through winters where there is snow that is 3 feet tall, 4 feet off the ground, and it's horrible. And like I said, I have no idea of the exact circumstances of either Stalin's or Mao Zedong's actual starvation plans or whatever happened to make them go through super famines that they did, but this may be a smaller version of that. I don't know. If you are knowledgeable and you wish to, please let me know in the comments. But anyway, they go through this for a year. They debate back and forth about going to America, because going to America means giving up. Going to America means giving up on Ireland, giving up on your home, giving up on what you've fought for your entire life. And it means basically telling everyone else that they win. And going over to America is no easy task. and usually it's not very well guaranteed levels of success whenever they do try to go over to America. So they get on a boat and they go to America, and they're trying to get to Chicago. They kind of just have to make a life in this place. So they make it. They have it. They have a great life. After about 30 or 40 years, everything is working out really well because their sons have grown up and had kids of their own. And bad things have happened, don't get me wrong, because it is a life story. But for the most part, everyone is there. Everyone is healthy. Everyone that is around is safe. Told you this was going to be a long one. But anyway, a little bit of critical analysis. Starting off with, oh my word, it's so much romance, so much bad, so much good, so much love, so much hate. Oh my word, it's so intense. But it is amazing if you like this kind of thing. And I do like this kind of thing. I like the romance, I like the fighting, I like the family stuff. I don't know what this means. Fighting. I like fighting, apparently. And another thing that I really love about this book is there are a lot of heavy Celtic mythological themes going on, which I'm a little bit of a fan of. And in this book, there's a lot of storytelling going on, which I love because I love storytelling. And if it's being told in Old Ireland, or stories about Old Ireland, it kind of has me by the shoulders, and it's just like, I love you. And I'm like, me too. I try to be funny. It doesn't work out. And while there is no actual magical realism or anything of that like, there are mentions of it, there are mentions of fairy doings, there are mentions of the good people, as they're called, which are basically just the little people, or just fairies in general, basically. When I say fairy, I don't mean Tinkerbell. When I say fairy, I mean leprechaun, I mean sylph, I mean gnome, I mean trolls. All of it. All of that universe is contained in the word fairy. But yes, the chapter lengths were pretty manageable. The wording was very nice. The sentences were very well put together. It was very easy to read. It wasn't very slow, surprisingly. It did take me a long time to read because that's just how I read, but it was very easy to read. But there are no parts that are left off. It's very clean. It's very succinct. It's very well put together. And I would recommend it definitely to anyone that's interested. And I honestly just love this book because it is wonderful, and I love it. It basically just kind of hit the spots, and it was wonderful. Anyway, moving on. Seeing as I have finished both Galway Bay and Harry Potter 4, I have moved on to new books, which are, I can't snap, so I'm just gonna, these two, John Connolly's The Gates, which I showed you earlier, and Harry Potter 5, because I want to finish the series because it's wonderful. A little bit about this book. It is delightful. I love it. I'm only nearly halfway through, but if you like the humor in Portal, especially with Wheatley in the second Portal game, it's so wonderful. Demons are arguing with the people they're supposed to be taking to hell. It's delightful kind of Irish humor. Sorry, I ran out of room on my phone for a minute. But anyway, it's delightful because there's a demon named Nerd who is a nerd, and it's so good. It's so good. It involves science, it involves hell and demon lore. It's, And I have not yet started this one because I just finished the other one last night. But I will get to you when I start it! But the reason for the extra long delay is that I was on vacation for a very long time, and I'm sorry. But I will try to be more regular about it if anyone is actually watching these things, which so far not many people are, but I don't blame you because I'm annoying. But that's all I've got for you this time, so I'll see you in the next video with the next book. Goodbye.